Well, I've been off for a few months. I've had a few kidney stone surgeries and my son got married, which was awesome. So I'm back and I'm super excited to be creating again. I'd like to thank everyone who's purchased my stencil designs in my PayHip shop. If you haven't, you can check it out in the link below. There you can download them and cut them immediately with your personal cutter, or you can print them out and hand cut them for just a few bucks. We have long winters here in Iowa, and one of the first beautiful things you see in the spring are these eastern redbud trees that are this bright, hot pink, fuchsia, magenta, sometimes a little more red trees that are just absolutely gorgeous. And so that's what I want to do today, is kind of my tribute to the eastern redbud tree in my art journal. I didn't really have what I wanted in my gel print stash, but I think I've come up with a solution to make it work. So let's get started. I've gone through my stash of papers and chosen some papers that I think that might work, but we will see as we go. I've got some magentas, some pinks here that may work. I've got some blues for my sky and some green for my grass. I'm kind of wanting to go in these blues and these greens, but I'm not 100% sure, but I know that most of these are not what I want, but they're along the lines, so a starting point, if you will. And then I found some papers that I thought I maybe could make work. These are from my paste papers, and most of these, I think, or all of them, are on that deli paper that's shiny on the back, that really waxy, that I don't like. But it has worked well in my art once I go to apply it. So I'm thinking I can jazz these papers up and make them what I want. I did a test paper the other night as I was messing around trying to figure out what I wanted to come back the first video and do to kind of get my feet wet again. So I took this one that was just like this one with, different stencil obviously, and added some blue, watery blue to it, and I thought, okay, I think this is along the lines what we could do to make this work. So what I want to start off with is, we'll keep going with the blue. These are just pages that I was cleaning off my stencil with. And so, but I mean, they're interesting. I think they'll be interesting. And what I've got is some water, some of my paints. I've got some navy. Just gonna put a little bit in my little bathroom cups here. My bright blue and a little cobalt. And I'll put some pumps of water. I don't know if that's enough. We're just going to play around and see if it's something we can make work. And I don't know, maybe I'm going to do these colors and not like them at all. What I figured is I can use a baby wipe or a paper towel to sop up some if I'm getting them too dark or if I don't like the color. I just want to coat that white background for the most part. I am not loving that. What if we take some of our cobalt, mix it with white? I apologize for how my arms look. Oh my gosh, I just get healed up and then our bigger puppy, we get to playing and having a good time, and then she clobbers me with a fingernail, not a fingernail, but with one of her claws. All right, I'm gonna let this one dry. I don't want them all to be the same because I want to collage them, but I want them to coordinate. Let's try the alcohol. I just have a little spray bottle here from Walmart, I think. Kind of gives you a little cool effect. Not real prominent, but a little bit. The more wet that you make it, the more cells and things you get. It's that purpley blue that I'm not in love with. I'm really flinging it all over. I think that'll dry nice and give us some light and dark in the background. And another reason why I like to hook these wet pieces of wax paper together, I use these over and over, as you can tell, but then I can pick them up and move them to another part of my studio to dry, but I enjoy also being able to pick them up and let the paint run as well. I've got my olivey green, my dark green, and my lime green. Look out the window again at the grass. I'm in the basement, so it's really right in between these three. I think that's a nice mix. Now those are really wet, so they're going to take a while to dry. My papers are dry. I really like how they turned out. Again, I'm not sure what I'm going to use. I never know till I'm actually doing it. But I do like how that finished them off. The only thing I'm thinking I want to do yet is put just a little bit more on a couple of them. So I'm going to take this dark green one, take a little bit of my off-white, and I mean a very little bit. I'm going to go over here and pounce most of it off because I want it to be a very light little bit of this stencil on the background. Yes. I don't want it to be in your face. I just want it to be just a little something. To brighten it up. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my dark gray. When I originally made this stencil, it was much larger. So what I like to do is, and then if I'm going to use it over and over again at a certain size, then I'll cut it out on Mylar or plastic or whatever kind of, and make a permanent stencil out of it. But when I want to resize a stencil for a one-time use, I often will cut it on regular cardstock. It'll work great for a few uses. And I don't throw them away. I mean, if it's in good shape when I get done, I can use it over and over again a few times before it starts to fall apart. But for me, I can get white cardstock, very inexpensively. Walmart carries it by the bundle and by the pack. And so to me, this is a very cost-effective way to cut out single-use or few-use stencils. Okay, so what I'm thinking is I want my red bud to be about right in here, and I want my, I think I want my hill that it's going to sit on I'm not going to use this. I'm going to draw my own trunk, I think, but I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do yet for the trunk. And I think we're going to start with our sky first. And I like to use Mod Podge for my art journal because I have a whole bunch of it I need to use up. And because I like the way it behaves, I add a little water to mine. And I don't have problems with pages sticking together typically. And I don't know, I just like the way it seals the page, and that's just my preference for my art journaling. I don't know, I'm thinking these, we'll see how it goes. Don't like this plastic coating on the back. I said wax before, but I think it's plasticky. I want to make sure I put some extra of this one because it's a little lighter than the other ones, and I think that is a nice look. All right, so this gives me a starting point. I like to tap on top of mine just to make sure that my texture is all the same. I don't like brush strokes a good share of the time. I know it's not exactly like but mine never are when I go to put them back down. But if I get kind of a plan going in my head to start, then it takes some of the fear out of getting started. Does that make sense? When you kind of have a plan, even if I don't adhere to it, which I never do. The scary part is always diving in and getting going. It's very exciting to me because you just never know if what you're going to do is going to turn out, whether it'll be anything that anybody else cares about or likes, or, I mean, you're putting yourself out there, right? And that's okay if nobody likes it but me. I'm cool with that as well. I just like the fun of doing it. And I love the creative process. And I hope you do as well when you're doing your art. I don't want to get hung up on whether... Of course, obviously, you want people to like what you do, but I also think it's not the end of the world if not everybody does, because pretty much not everybody's going to. Go back, and any place where I've dripped Mod Podge on the way across, I just want to tamp down on top, make sure my texture is raised. And now we can let this dry. Then we'll see what we've got and what we want to do next. While my art journal is drying, I thought I would get to work and see how I want to do my blossoms on my red bud tree. I've chosen these two. I think these are going to give me more of, I don't know, I feel better about them together. I like them. This is not the plastic back deli paper. This is the deli paper that I prefer. It's easy to tear, easier to control, and you don't have that stupid plastic on the back. And it's better for intricate tearing, I think. I also want to point out, if you don't know this already on deli paper, but it has a grain to it. And you will find that it is very difficult to tear one way, but much easier to tear in another way. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to be tearing off some pieces here. We'll just try a couple because I need to decide what size is going to work for my tree. They have to be fairly small. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that'll work, about that size. I think instead of paint, I'm going to take care of a few of these white edges with my oil pastels. Just trying to maybe get a little, not match my colors perfectly, but just a little something there. Oh, I'm doing the white part that I stenciled on. I don't love my line here, so let's see if we can put some of this other green on the top and make it more a little heavy-handed at this end. Maybe both ends. There, I like that much better. That might still be too much. Let's try that. Get it in our alligator clip. And then I could keep it in here possibly without getting it all over the place. We'll see. All right, and I think what we're gonna do is get a little bit of our dark brown, burnt umber, our dark gray, a little bit of our nutmeg brown, try it out. Oh yeah, that helps me keep it right. The good thing is we're working on a Mod Podge surface, so stenciling on a Mod Podge surface, it's always easy to come back in and clean it up. Oh, I went too far. Get a little bit of that dark gray. And a little bit of that lighter brown. So we got a good mix going on. Let's see what we got. All right, that's a good start. Clean up this edge. And this base. All right, now we can put our tree here. And that is a lot. Less, so maybe what we need to do is take this one, go up from there. This one. This one's going to have to be a lot thinner where it attaches to our base. Oh, I like it. And we can just go in and make all our connections. Not sure what happened to this clip, but I have video, but absolutely no sound. So I'm just going to do a quick voiceover. Here I'm getting a little tool, a jewel picker-upper thingy that you can grab things with and put it where you want it. And I'm thinking about using this, and I have another one that I'm going to get down as a possible that's also that I bought for scrapbooking I used to use, but I don't use it very often. I don't work with a lot of little small things much anymore, but occasionally these kind of things are nice. But I wind up just using my brush dipped in Mod Podge to grab my little pieces of paper, and that works just fine. I put a little Mod Podge out on my plate, got a small brush, and I'm going to hang in there and try to use this tool, this jewel picker, or whatever this thing's called, and put little dots of Mod Podge, but then I realize it'd just be easier just to do, you know, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here. So sometimes what you think you're going to do turns out to be not as, you know, you find a better way to do things. So that's what I'm doing here. But here in a second, I'm going to find out that it's just easier just to put a little bit of Mod Podge in an area and then go through and put in my little pieces of paper. This is definitely the labor-intensive way to do it right here. This whole process takes quite a while, but it's one that I enjoy very much, so it doesn't bother me a bit. I'm just trying to mix the different papers as I go so that I have a nice mix in the end. Well, I've got the same problem with this clip. No sound. I think I accidentally recorded in 4K instead of my normal settings, so I think that's where I have my problem. Anyway, so I've got some of my modeling paste out here. I put it in this cup, and I'm adding a little bit of magenta, and then I've got this alizarin red, that I'm going to add to it as well to mess around till I get the color that I'm looking for. I'll also add in a little bit of red. I've got a couple of different tools out now, a little palette knife, a little, I don't know what this blue stick was from something else that I thought it was kind of a groovy shape. I thought I'd try it. And then one of my clay tools that I never use for clay. And I'm going to try some different ones, just putting a good globby bit down. And I'm going to do a whole bunch of the blue ones first. And then I'm not going to like them, so I'm going to wipe everything off. And then I'm going to do it all with a very small dental tool. Well, that's my page. I really like how it turned out. It was super fun to make. Let's see if you can see some of that texture there. Hopefully my camera can pick up some of it. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I hope you'll join me in my next video. Bye for now.